Hello and welcome back to the Retro Asylum, the UK's #1 retro gaming podcast. We've already been here for about 45 minutes trying to get a Twitch stream to work. Big props to you, Jimbo, for finally overcoming the technical issues.
There were many technical. It's because Mads isn't here, isn't it?
It is.
It's all gone to pot.
Everything's worse without Mads.
It seems to be.
But we do have, in the background there, Chris O'Regan.
Hello.
The Podfather.
Thank you.
We shouldn't have technical issues when you're here because you've been doing this for about 83 years.
Yeah, I should, but I mean, I was trying to help without actually reaching through the screen and helping physically.
And I'm crippled with hay fever, so really we are a fabulous trio.
Yeah, it's all kicking off today. But it's going to be kicking.
We've got some very patient viewers on Twitch. So look, without further ado, let's get started. So we are here to talk Evercade. This is the latest in our series of cart by cart looks at the Evercade series. We've reached cart number 5, which is the Atari Collection number 2. So for as long as it takes us to look at each of these wonderful, some maybe Atari 2600.
Yeah, it's those air quote things again, isn't it?
So we're going to run through one by one. We're going to have a look. Jim is going to demonstrate some wonderful gameplay ability to those who are joining us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Retro Asylum. And for you audio bods, we'll do our best not to fixate on what is going on the screen, which we now can see because we overcame the technical issues. So, Jimbo, anything that either of you guys want to say about this car before we kick off?
Go on, Chris, because I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I think there's more misses than hits. But
really?
Yeah, for me, yeah.
I mean, some of the older games are barely that. But generally speaking, I found it to be entertaining for the most part. I think there are some really... There are games that have depth more than I was expecting. That's nice. But there are games in here that I never wish to see the light of day again or experience again. Yeah, I think it's certainly a lot of games. There's 20.
A lot of games. And there's one with mouse support as well. So they've just on the latest update, they've just brought in mouse support for some games. Yeah. So the point and click adventures, Broken Sword, they've got mouse support now. But also, if I can find it,
was it a paddle game? Was it on here?
Yeah, Demons to Diamonds works as a mouse game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, interesting. So I found it quite entertaining. I think there were some real gems in here, I believe. But that's my opinion.
Well, let's get started. Without further ado, let's get started with game number 1.
Right.
We've got some comments on Discord. I think there might have been some audio issues, but we're ploughing on in the hope that it sounds all right.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Sorry, turn the sound off. You're not missing much.
Yeah, I think it has resolved itself.
Would you mind if I read this one out? I don't know why I'm compelled to, but I'm going to anyway.
You go for it then.
I'll kick it off. This is Air-Sea Battle, which I think, as we start to talk about this game, is a bit of misnomer, but let's just move on. Get to the battle stations! ! In this Atari 2600 Classic. It's certainly a game. Classic. You'll engage in a variety of battles, no you won't, between air and sea. No you won't. Man and anti-air guns to take down attacking aircraft. Yeah. Use your submarine torpedoes to sink enemy ships. No. Fire the massive cannons of a battleship at buzzing foes overhead. No. Fly a deadly bomber and unleash your payload. I see. Okay. Take part in a duel to finish between a bomber and a battleship. Or just head to the shooting gallery for a little light fun. No. This is a shooting gallery. You lying. All of it is a shooting gallery. All of it. I was waiting for that. There it is. Admission. Unfinished reading. Worst. Fine.
Right, do you want to carry on reading?
No,
I can't because it's gone now.
Crack on with the game, Jim. Come on.
Let's crack on with the game. Come on.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see this in action.
What did you think of this then, Chris?
It felt like a really, really bad Flash game. Yeah. But I felt it was like the timing, and when I discovered you could move the cannons, I was like, oh, that's good. We can do that then.
Yeah, but 1977 this release though.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that this is a really old game.
Mm.
And actually, in 2 players, I would suggest isn't terrible. As a bit of a kind of
I can imagine there's
battle.
a modicum of fun to be had in 2 players.
But it is ultimately just a shooting gallery.
It is a shooting gallery. 27 varieties of shooting gallery, though.
There is some adversarial where you start shooting at each other. That's fun.
Coming in from the other side of the screen now as well.
See, look, I like the varieties and the fact that you press it. I did enjoy pressing select and seeing the different games come up. That was nice.
Yeah, 27 varieties. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So we have the anti-aircraft ones, and then there are ones where it doesn't change much, but you are a submarine and you fire the torpedo, and then where you are, and then there's this weird kind of one where it calls itself a shooting gallery game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all shooting galleries, aren't they?
But ultimately, yeah. Because the thing is,
you can move your cannon on this one. So
you can, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and there's some game modes where it's where your missiles are guided as well.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, really, it doesn't change up the game that much, though.
No.
Does it?
Little sunset scene.
I mean,
it might be good for our viewers if you show game 19 to 21. So any of
any one of those.
Game 19, which then shows the game off as the bomber variety. Which, I mean, look, it's very simplistic.
It won't let me start.
You hit start.
Yeah. I have done, Chris, but my. Oh right.
There you go. You're away.
I'm away.
You got 3 points.
So yeah.
I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? Where for a game released in 1977, I imagine if you were playing this with your big brother or your little brother back in the day, I mean, there's a bit of fun to be had.
It feels like kind of what you'd encounter back then in the arcades anyway. It would be like, like a fun fair thing. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a freaking shooting gallery.
Yeah.
It's just with a bit of variety in shooting galleries. So I think, the earlier Atari games generally aren't great.
No.
They don't really, I mean, to say they hold up is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
there is one later on, beginning with letter S, that's even worse.
Yeah. I mean, there's no longevity at all here for anybody playing this in single player mode.
No, there's nothing. The only reason you want to do that is actually get better at the variety of games.
Yeah.
Of which there is a lot, but it is all a variation on a theme.
Yeah.
I do quite like the Harrier-esque sort of sprite. That's not bad.
Yeah, no, it all looks okay.
All right.
But the thing is, there was an Intellivision game which also had kind of like military battle stuff, but it was way better than this. So that's what bothers me, is that the Intellivision was as similar sort of time period, did a much better job. But then again, it's a much better machine anyway. Although Mark won't hear of that because he gets mad.
I am smashing this 51-0.
I have to laugh. In the manual, it says the difficulty switches on your Atari video computer system. If your Atari VCS console control the size of the missile. In position A, the missile is 1/4 the size of position B. There's your variety.
There it is.
There's your depth.
There it is. I would point out that Jim is actually playing a 2-player game, but let's not move. That's why he's smashing this in inverted commas.
See, this is my idea of multiplayer, where you control players 1 and 2 at the same time. That's perfect for me. Then I always.
So we've got some questions on the Discords, on the the stream. Let's answer some.
It's okay.
So far, you're not. Yeah, Paporis Rex says, so far, you're not making me feel bad for skipping this cart. Bear with us. There's some gems here.
It gets better and worse.
Gets better. And worse. And worse. My gaming history, I can't wait to start collecting own Evercade. About that. Would you recommend the handhelds? Yes, I would.
Yeah,
although
absolutely.
I like the X, actually. Sadly, I don't get a full screen privilege much. Oh, well, the handhelds, especially you can do Tate mode. Is that called Tate mode? I just call it Tate.
Yeah.
Tate. It does. Yeah, the handheld does a fantastic Tate mode.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. So for that alone, big thumbs up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm tempted to get the tabletop because I could fit it in my kitchen, but that's me personally. I personally played all of these games on both handheld and on the Versus console, so I got to experience it both in large screen and small.
Nice.
Lovely.
Should we move on?
Please do.
What have we got
next
Jim?
up? Asteroids.
Right.
Is it though?
The first HD remake of this card.
Right, okay.
This is the Atari 7800 version of Asteroids, and we did play the 2600 version on Atari Cart 1.
We did.
So, this is the official Evercade blurb. Start blasting. It's your only way out of this cloud of hurtling astral bodies. Peripheral vision, lightning reflexes, and steady control. That's what it takes to save your ship and your life. Dramatic. Take on the destructive space rocks on your own or play with a friend in 3 different 2-player modes. Challenge 4 difficulty levels and try to earn a high score.
The question is, will they remain your friend after you do this?
Yeah, because friendly fire is most definitely a thing, right?
It is, yeah.
So if I'm right then, the different multiplayer modes are 2-player alternate, 2-player simultaneous, and then there is this other one, isn't there? There is this. Go on, Jim. Keep cycling through.
Here we go.
Competition
play.
play.
Now, that's the fun one, right?
That's the fun. It's very much Space War like that one.
So you have
Kids
asteroids
ask your
as well as
grandparents.
trying to shoot each other?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But
Yeah.
do single player and
One
just
player.
intermediate. Don't do novice. Intermediate or advanced.
Why not novice? What's wrong with novice?
Because it's just there's barely any rocks, and when they explode,
That's the way I like my asteroids.
it's A to hit. It's A to shoot, not B. You're doing a hyper. Yeah.
Takes a little bit of getting
Subscribe
used
to
to
a
with
stream.
the-
I've got a bit of bug.
Takes
What
a
do we
little
make
bit.
of the... So to describe this then for the listeners, the big difference here I can see immediately is the injection of colour into asteroids.
Yeah.
What do we think of that?
It doesn't feel as precise as it should be.
No.
Asteroids is about is precision.
What do we think of the look, though, with these coloured asteroids coming towards us?
It just looks like you're like in the middle of an ice cream field, doesn't it? It's just
Yeah, it should. For me, it should be a vector game.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I think so,
that's
yeah.
not obviously possible on the hardware.
I do think it loses something without the vector graphics, doesn't it? I mean, all of a sudden, these asteroids don't really look that threatening. And
the spaceships look like little. Here he is. Look on cue. He just looks like a little helicopter thing. It looks too cute to want to shoot. Like I don't want to shoot that. It's nice. Whereas in the original vector-based game, you know, since Dean's not here, I'm going to step into the Vectrex Zealot time. Okay, no, that's how you're supposed to play asteroids. I'm not a fan of this port, I have to say. Fun fact, everyone, if you don't know this, I'm sure many listeners, viewers, whatever you are, know this, but this was a built-in game in the Atari 2700. They built this in. You turn it on with
in
no
the
cart in.
7800?
Yeah. If you turn it on with no cart, this will be the game that will start up.
Oh, cool.
Oh, didn't know that.
It's kind of cool.
That's a nice little bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it plays. I think it plays well. I think it plays just as well as any other version.
It's too sloppy. It's just not as. I don't think it is. I think it's just too. The speed and reaction of the ship itself is not as precise and reactive as the original. At least this is what I found. I found it annoying to play and boring. That was the big thing.
Yeah, I find
I was really bored.
Quite boring, though, as a game, if I'm honest. I'm not a big fan. But the one thing that I think the original does nail is that feeling, because of the vector graphics and the sparsity of them, does nail that feeling of being out in space, doesn't it? Whereas
it does,
I think like the colour here, I know I keep harping on about it, but this does lose something for me.
Ice cream blobs floating around. But what really, the sound is odd. Because you get weird bloops every now and again that seem to be completely irrelevant. Like, what's that? Ooh, bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah. Why? What's that sound for? You're meant to be no. Sorry, that this is a game I should have left alone.
I will say I quite like the some of the rotation effects. They're nice.
Again, like. Can't beat the original in the vectors.
No, you can't.
And indeed, Asteroid Deluxe as well. Still the vector-based game.
Yeah, but I think if you've got a friend round, I think the two-player options would give it.
Maybe. I like the adversarial thing. That's fun.
Yeah,
but for how long? Probably 10 minutes.
Put it on at least.
I mean, someone said something in our private sort of Telegram sort of thing, saying that this is the best. It was you, Jim, said it was a great cart for pooping with.
That was
me. It was you.
That was Chris.
Yeah.
That was me. Yeah, because every game's good for... well, not every one, but the games that are good on this are all just good for 10 minutes. And I will put Asteroids in that. It's a good poo game. It's 10 minutes of fun, turn it off, job done.
It's not a poo game. It's a great game to poo with.
That was my mature response to Chris's comment.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that. There you go.
Yeah. It's not a poo game.
Let's move
on because we've got a lot to get through.
Swiftly along here.
We'll be here all night. We can't do that.
Basket Brawl.
Can we not play this one? Oh, fine.
Jesus Christ. Who's going to read this one?
Basket Brawl.
Jim, it's your turn.
Part Street Fight. It's Basket Brawl. Pick your favourite character and take on all comers to see who is top of the league. There won't be any awards for gentlemanly conduct here. This is a no-holds-barred battle for court dominance, and if that means feeding the opposition a knuckle sandwich, so be it. Even the ref is getting in on the action, so watch out for flying knives from the courtside. Grab power-ups that appear on the court to give yourself an edge over the competition, but beware. They can use those power-ups just as easily as you can. Whoever scores the most baskets by the time the clock runs down moves on to the next round. Play as dirty as it takes to win the championship and prove you're the king of the streets.
Nice.
I like
so
that.
This game was released in 1990 for the 7800. So a pretty late Atari 7800 game. It also got a port to the Atari Lynx in 1992.
Wow.
In my opinion, it's terrible.
Yeah, mainly bad.
To be honest...
I did do 2-on-2. That's on you. That's on you, Jim. You just went through the menu without thinking. I suppose it adds a little bit to it, but
there we go.
I mean, in its defence, some of the animations are pretty nice.
Are they?
I'm trying to give it some credit here, please.
Oh, that's a lovely shot.
I mean,
but the way they run is a bit odd, actually.
This is 90. Well, it's like, do you know what it reminds me of? The way they run, like the walking races in the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. They've got this sort of really stiff back to them, yeah.
But the ball physics, I mean, look, if this was a 1981 game, I'd be thinking, wow, it's just really impressive. But
it's not.
This is 1990.
Yeah.
By then, we had far better sports games than this, so I think it's a poor effort.
There's a bloke throwing knives at the players. That's not nice.
He looks like he's superimposed on.
Yeah, sort of floating around.
Do you know, sports, in my opinion, sports games hold up the worst. I mean, I think they age, generally, sports games age, with a few exceptions, sports games age badly.
This is not the first and last sports game in this collection, I'm just saying.
It is, in my opinion, though, by far the worst.
Yes. What annoys me is this game seems to be born out of an executive's drawer. Like, well, kids, I like fighting, don't I like basketball? Let's just match them together.
Throw them together. I mean, where does the Jim there is for listeners. Jim is demonstrating the fact that you can just punch. It doesn't seem to have any appreciable effect on the gameplay, though.
No.
It just looks like a steal in normal basketball. Under then you got the guy throwing knives at the players.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all a bit strange, all a bit odd.
Yeah. What do you think, Jim? You're playing it. I mean, how do you think it plays?
I think it's quite playable, to be honest.
Really?
It's not. It is playable. It's just rubbish. Because it's playable doesn't mean it's like it's entertaining.
I mean, give me this over Wizard any day.
Well, okay. Well, that's a game that was not finished, and then they released it again. But I'm spoiling things.
Yeah, it's not Ninja Golf.
I think if you've got a mate over, this would be good fun 2-player.
No,
not in 1990.
No, I'm not going to give it that. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't. Again, if I really sort of had an affection for that friend, I wouldn't subject them to this.
Yeah, Jim. If I'm round your house and you put this on, I'm going home.
Yeah, just go home.
Oh, mate, don't be like that.
Yeah.
You better plough me with some nice beer if you're going to put this on, I tell you.
I think. I mean, it's not NBA Jam, is it? Let's be honest, but
no.
I mean, I think you look at when you think what the 7800 can do. I mean, you look at the court details. We're in a little scrapyard type thing at the moment. I think that don't look too bad.
I appreciate your efforts of trying to polish a turd. I really do.
Yeah,
but I just can't.
Features for me.
I don't. Yeah, it's all a bit meh, isn't it? But you're right. There's some nice graphical dipple effects, and it's nice. But it was competing against the NES for pity's sake. Come on.
It was. I mean, I don't know any basketball games on the NES, to be honest.
Oh, more to the point, it was competing. If you could argue it's
double triple.
Double triple. Please don't. It could be competing against the likes of the Amiga, for example, or ST.
Yeah. Well, there was a decent basketball game on the Master System, weren't there? Where you play as little vampires and stuff.
And that's an 8-bit system. Sorry, and that was direct competitor to the 7800, and it did way better, at least in Europe, anyway.
Yeah.
Could we just move on, please?
Moving on. Bowling.
Game number 4 is this is a good one.
I liked it.
Now, this is what it's all about.
Okay, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah,
bowling. Can you bowl a perfect 300 game, grab the ball, get into position, and try to get a strike by knocking down all the pins? I can't. There's no innuendo into that. There was a little bit, but then it trailed off. You get 2 tries at each frame, and the full game lasts 10 frames. Some modes allow you to put spin on the ball, allowing you to pull off some miraculous tricks. Use the select game mode. So, off you go, Jim. Go on, mate. I'm sure you're going to suddenly channel Wii Sports. Just be the ball.
I'm channeling.
Be the ball.
Like it's 1979.
That's the context.
79,
this is 1979, right?
Yeah, look at the dots. Look at the dots, everyone.
Bit of after-touch there, look. I'm just demoing it.
Oh, there they go. Look, they're into the rail, and there you go. Your ball back.
Yeah. So this is the precursor
once more with feeling
to Wii Sport, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's But then again, there were some bowling games on the television that was just infinitely superior. I'm going to keep saying it, Mark, whether you like it or not. I'm going to keep saying it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that this is, for those who can't see it, this is very, very simplistic. The pins are represented just by dots, so you get like an aerial view, a bird's eye view of the pins, but a side-on view of what appears to be the lane. The
bowling, man, yeah.
Yeah, it really
I mean, the pins don't really move realistically enough.
No, they
kind of just scatter around.
Yeah. Although, look, let's be fair. This is a very old game. If I had a friend round, or I was round Jim's, and he put on basketball, and I said, "Get this monstrosity off the screen," I would rather play this.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? I was alive when this first came out. All right. So if I'd have seen this, I would have been like blown away. This is amazing. It's a video game. I would have played it anyway. It doesn't matter because it's a video game. Nice strike, by the way. Well done.
Lovely. Well done.
So for that, I can really appreciate. I mean, I played the video pack G7000, and I love that system. But now that doesn't it's looking at it now though. The problem is there's far better bowling games than this, and while it's a nice historic sort of curiosity, I just don't see the merit in having it in this collection.
I was just thinking that myself. I wonder why they chose to put this here. I mean, it doesn't particularly show off anything that the 2600 could do. It doesn't seem to be of any kind of historical interest.
So, just maybe as an aside...
sorry, Chris. Maybe it's just in as a multiplayer thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Bowling. Yeah, people like bowling with friends, right? So
yeah.
So just as an aside, did any of you read the instructions for any of these games while you were playing?
All of them, yeah.
Me too, because if you don't, you really are scuppered.
Yeah.
Some of the latter games we're going to be playing today, or showing off, or Jim will be playing and we'll be talking about, it will be another strike there. He's cracking on, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing well, mate.
154.
Hell of a game. Oh, no.
Oh, what's going on there?
You need to put it in. You need to put the difficulty into position B by the sound of it.
Yeah, it looks like. Probably makes the ball smaller.
It might do. Let's have a look.
No, it just makes it in the manual. It just says it just makes it more difficult. It doesn't say why or how. It just.
Right.
I don't know. It just makes the thing more difficult.
Jim's just destroyed his game now. He's done a great game and now he's just reset it all. There you go.
Yeah.
This is all Big Lebowski-like, isn't it?
It removes the aftertouch. It removes the aftertouch.
Okay, right.
There we go.
Anyway, let's move on to
Let's move on, please. Yeah, it's bowling. What are you going to do?
Centipede,
another one of the HD remakes on the card. So we played the 2600 version of this last time. The blurb for this, I'm just going to make this bigger because my eyes are not what they used to be. The peace-loving elves of the Enchanter Forest are being, capital E, capital F, by the way, are being terrorized by pests. A troublesome flea, a mischievous spider, a poisonous scorpion, and worst of all, a giant centipede. It's up to the heroic elf Oliver to use his magic wand to fend off these fiends and chase them away from the Mushroom Garden for good. Centipede is Atari's legendary shoot-'em-up that sees you squaring off with a multi-segmented giant centipede. As the centipede makes its way down the screen, you need to try to eliminate it piece by piece, and carefully as taking out a middle segment will split the creature and leave you with twice the problems. All the while, various other insects will get in your way to make things more difficult. How long can you keep the nefarious centipede at bay? And then it says, use the select game mode button to choose the difficulty level and whether you want to play single player, 2-player alternating, 2-player competitive, or 2-player team play mode. So this is a bit like Asteroids in the 2-player options it gives you. It's a bit of Centipede, is it? This came out in 1987 for the 7800. Obviously, Centipede by then was a well-established video game property, and it already had many ports to other systems, as well as having the original arcade game. It's good, right? I mean, it's Centipede. It's fun.
Centipede.
It's a big improvement on the 2600 version, is what I would say. I actually went back and tried the 2600 version immediately after playing this, and it's a huge improvement, as you'd expect given the hardware. But it does make the 2600 version difficult to go back to, in my opinion.
And the 2600 version is no slouch either. I think it's actually...
it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the 2600 version.
I don't know. It's not my favourite arcade game. It's a bit. It's always peculiar. What's with the dancing spiders and the mushrooms and these things that go flying down the screen and you can move your little dude? I mean, it was a trackball game, wasn't it? You need a trackball to move your little ship around in.
It'd be nice to get mouse support for this one.
I was just going to say, Jim, is this one of those that's compatible with the mouse?
It's not. No, unfortunately.
That's a shame because I think it would have worked well.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that this version, this 7800 version, is not going to change your mind on Centipede, is it? If you don't like Centipede as a game, then this doesn't do anything.
Yeah, in fact, it probably makes it worse because it leans into it even further, as demonstrated well by Jim here. The spider's really not... He's not getting on with the spider at all, which is not uncommon. But basically, you're just constantly shooting in the vain hope. I'm sure there's a wonderful strategy of how to play this well, but I've never conned on to it. Yeah. It's a peculiar game. It's the result of a fever dream, but This is not the first game we're going to find that's peculiar. Trust me, everyone. Oh, there's some interesting stuff coming up. Oh boy!
Yeah, I quite like the game Centipede, and I quite enjoyed this version, and I prefer it over the 2600 version.
Yes.
And I think in 2-player co-op, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Again, that's something that we can't sort of turn our nose up at. You're right. And as a multiplayer experience, I think they're quite fun as a co-op game.
I mean, if I had a 7800, which I don't, but if it did, and I was trying to build a collection for it, this would definitely be on my list. I really like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my favourites on the cart, I would say.
Okay.
I think one of the things that it loses over the 2600 version is obviously when the 2600 version comes out, you've got this amazing arcade game at home. Whereas by the time the 7800 comes along, it's
old hat.
It's old hat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing, isn't it? That's a good point to make. I mean, by this point, 1987, games had moved on quite significantly. Would if you got this home in 1987, other than the kind of retro appeal it might have had by then, I don't know how kind of thrilled you are with having this issue. Imagine you only got one game a year, right? And it was Centipede that you got for Christmas. You'd be a bit like, well, this has got to do me now till my birthday in August.
Yeah. Yeah, that would hurt. That would hurt.
I mean, there's not, because like we've said, and like we're going to say, there's just not a huge amount. It's an arcade port, right? So there's not a huge amount of variety.
No.
And it hurts it as a home game, I think.
Sound-wise, it's really close to the arcade, though.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's really up there, but that's not really that hard. But then again, I just think, yeah, it does capture the spirit of the arcade very, very well. I'll grant it that. It's just not one of my favourite arcade games. I've always found it peculiar.
Weirdly, I've always preferred Centipede over Millipede.
Millipede's got a lot more going on, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Spoilers, everyone.
We will come on to Millipede shortly.
Moving on.
Moving on.
On to the second row now. Second row of...
Here we're motoring that. Here we go. Chambers that are dark.
Dark Chambers. Is this me reading out?
Yeah, it is you.
Dark Chambers, then. The darkness is upon you. You're on a dangerous search, deep underground. Monsters wait around every corner. Exits only take you deeper into the maze. Find weapons and items in the darkness to help you fend off your enemies and open locked doors. Grab every treasure you see and fight your way deeper into the caverns. Your strength is enough to handle the weaker ghouls, but are you a match for the strongest? Your goal in this action-adventure game is to find the exit on each floor of the dungeon and make your way through all 26 stages. Use the select game mode to choose between single-player and two-player modes and your desired skill level. Only the mightiest of heroes will be able to conquer the dungeon on the highest skill level.
Imagine this being
1988 as well.
88, so it's quite late for a 2600 game, in fact, very late, as is demonstrated by this title screen. Because I found the later games...
So, Jim, you are starting midway through the game here.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you there is a way that you can start at A.
Yeah.
So the idea is
I've always gone in, when I've been playing it, I've done it again.
No, so see the little dude... No, don't start, please.
Go on, we'll roll with it. We'll roll with it.
No, please, just start again. Trust me, we really need to. Otherwise, you'll make a mess.
Yeah.
So quit that and start again. So hit the select button.
Well, apologies for the audio listeners.
Yeah. So
you might need to hit select.
Keep going, keep going. Hit select again and again and again.
Ah.
There you go. No, overcooked it. See in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a little bear, little teddy bear.
Yeah.
Look, him, he's little teddy bear. He's happy man on your own. Now go.
Level A. There we go. Well,
there you go.
This is what happens when you don't read the instructions, Chris.
Yeah. There you go. But it's very late. It's very late. So you've got these weird ghouls, and they turn into like these little pieces. They look like prisoners or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
So this is fun, right? So this is a maze game. The idea is to just find the exit. You go from room to room. You can pick up trinkets for points. There are things that make... There's the exit down there, bottom right, Jim.
Yeah, I'm just going to grab this.
you can pick up power-ups that give you replenish your health, as Jim's just done there, or you can find things that make your projectile more powerful. There's supposed to be other weapons in the manual. It says other weapons, but they are just things that make you more powerful. In later levels, there are keys, there are locked doors, and you have to find keys behind which are collectibles, or even sometimes the level exit. And as you progress through, the mazes get more elaborate, although they never really progress all that much.
No.
What did you think of this, Chris? I actually quite enjoyed this again for 10 or 15 minutes of fun.
Yeah, I got into the don't take the poison, Jim. Never mind. So I actually was found, initially I was like, oh, this is fun, going around the mazes and finding exits and trying to logic my way out of finding keys, because it gets more and more elaborate, blowing up generators as Jim's has done there. But within about 20 minutes, though, it started to become really, really repetitive.
Yeah, it does. That's the thing.
And, I mean, it is a Gauntlet clone.
Well, hang on, mate.
In a manner of speaking.
Well, be careful there, because this game started life as a game called Dandy.
Yes.
For the Atari 8-bit computer line.
Right.
And Gauntlet was a clone of Dandy, and of course there was the famous lawsuit between Atari Games and the creator of Dandy.
Right.
And Atari settled it. This was a rework of the original Dandy. So, Jim, you just picked up a bomb there, and a bomb you can essentially clear the screen with a bomb.
And that's your
Which you just did.
Yeah, that's your next attack, isn't it, the bomb?
So that probably the most interesting thing about this game is that really this is the game. This is a reworking of the game that inspired Gauntlet. And you can see the Gauntlet, where Gauntlet got its influence, those generators of enemies there that we've just seen. Gauntlet took, it's fair to say, quite heavy inspiration from this game. This game came out late in 1986 for the consoles and was, as I said, a reimagining.
Yeah.
My problems with it, it's too slow.
Yeah,
It is all just a bit too slow, and in later levels,
there's not a lot of sprites going around because obvious reasons. It's it's 2600. It can only take so many sprites.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on the screens.
No.
There are times when you're just walking through pretty empty screens. The enemies get really spongy as well, and that's a problem.
I do like the presentation, though. All the fonts, and they do try to turn it into something. Oh, look at the weird, wonderful fonts and text and stuff.
But look, compare this to RC Battle Right that we've just seen.
Yeah.
This is where... one of the fascinating things about the 2600 is its longevity, and you can see how more complex the game's got over the years. And this is 9 years after RC Battle. It's far more. This is the kind of game, if you got this for Christmas, you're not so bad, because there's, this 26 levels here will take you a long time to get good enough to complete those. You can't save it. There's no password. You've got to do it in one sitting.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Berserk.
A little bit.
It reminds me of Berserk, like a slower, slower version of Berserk. Obviously, where you
did this game support paddles? This is Papyrus Rex. I suspect not, because you need all four directions. Unless you're talking about the other game we were talking about earlier today.
Possibly
this game, no, don't. Oh. Never mind. You got the poison.
Yeah, but I think one of the better ones on the car for sure.
It is. It
agreed.
is.
Yeah.
But
certainly,
I think it's let down by repetitive nature.
Yeah,
but
like all of these games.
I suspect it would be slightly more entertaining at higher difficulty levels.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you're going to start from the beginning, it takes quite a long time. It really starts. That's why you can start the game from level H, which I think is where it starts to get a little bit more complex.
Yeah, this is where the teddy bear's like a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. But
cool.
As I said, the enemies get a bit spongy and the mazes get a bit more elaborate, and it all just takes a little bit too long.
And again,
sprite moved like 1.5 times quicker.
If I were to compare this to in television Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, this can't hold a candle to that.
No.
It really can't.
No, I agree.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
Even Venture on the ColecoVision is better than this.
Okay, Jim, should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. I liked it. Thinking Man's Berserk. There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Demons to Diamonds.
Okay, so is this me on this one?
Yeah.
Right. Let's just see. Demons to Diamonds. Step right up to the Cosmic Carnival Shooting Gallery. It's another one, everyone. Yeah. Demons to Diamonds is a shoot 'em up with somewhat complicated mechanics.
What?
Demons of two different colours march across the screen. Shooting demons whose colour matches your laser will destroy them and cause a diamond to shoot across the screen. Shoot a diamond to score big points. You shoot a demon whose colour doesn't match your laser, they will turn into a skull that will fire deadly shots in both directions. Demons who reach the edge of the screen will switch colours and walk in another direction. You need to think carefully before you fire. And this is true. It's just, this is the depth of the game. You've got a laser of a certain colour. If you shoot a demon of a different colour, it'll turn to a skull and start shooting at you. It's a very odd game. Yet somehow I find it oddly compelling. I don't know why.
Do you know one of the fascinating things, just before you launch into, you can describe the game in a sec, Chris, one of the funny things about this is, I don't know whether you read the manual for this game. I assume you did.
Yeah.
It kind of gives this backstory about this quite elaborate backstory with quotes and everything about these kids at a cosmic carnival on a Saturday afternoon and how they stumble upon this strange stall. I mean, how unnecessary.
Very strange. It does lend itself to an analog control, but
it does.
Yeah.
I'm playing this with the mouse now.
Oh yeah,
how are you?
I am, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no wonder you could see it sort of sliding around. Cool.
So it's a bit of a precursor to Ikaruga.
Don't forget the diamonds. Don't forget that. There you go. Nicely done. Is it? Ikaruga. I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Is that the one with the bullet switcher mechanic, or is the
No, it's the shield. Is the bullet and shield switching mechanic, isn't it?
Yeah, I always get mixed up between that. And
the thing is, if you indiscriminately just shoot all the demons, then you get all these skulls appearing, and that's the tactical element of the game. That you don't do that. You just shoot. See, they've done it again. Look, it's just like it's constantly.
And you die.
I'm demonstrating.
Don't shoot. It's a game. Basically, there we go. You're basically saying that don't shoot everything that's moving. Just shoot the things that. But the thing is, it's like, oh, you got a different color laser. I don't see that.
No, yeah, you don't.
I don't see that at all.
You just shoot the black things and not the white things, don't you? Is that what it is?
I mean, there's.
I haven't got a laser at all.
Haven't you?
I haven't got a laser at all.
That's because the game's over.
Yeah. Do you know what I couldn't figure out?
Start again and you can have a go.
How do you progress to the next level? Do you have to shoot all of the baddies or just the ones that don't shoot back at you?
I think I can't actually remember now. I think it reached sort of a point barrier. Maybe that was it. Like you reach a certain level of points, or you shot all the specific demons.
Oh, they change colour when they reach the sides of the screen.
They do, yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, if you've heard me wibbling on about it, then I did say that in the description.
Sorry, I was too busy reading the manual.
Yeah. But I think you reach a certain point threshold, and then it goes on to the next level. Stop shooting indiscriminately. But what I like about the game is how tactical it is, and the fact you don't shoot everything that moves. You only shoot the things that are everything else. You just let go until they make their way across the screen, and then you shoot them. I like that. It's a little change, a little tweak, little modification to the shooting gallery mechanic.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this. And again, in two-player mode, I reckon this would be a lot of fun.
Really would be a lot of fun, actually. No, I played this when I was standing outside waiting to get into the London gaming market. So I played this a lot.
Because
just a memory.
Imagine, if you played it with a friend, your friend could steal the points from your diamond. So if you shoot the right one, you get the diamond.
Yeah.
Presumably your friend rival can then steal your points, which would create some good fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
You're getting good at this, Jim.
Well, you get drawn into it because once you know the rules,
you get into it, don't you? You get a rhythm. You get a rhythm with it.
Exactly, and that was really, really rewarding. So yeah, I know it's a little bit of a late one though, early 80s. Okay, just bear that in mind.
Yeah, 82. I mean, it's good stuff. It's good stuff for 82. I liked it, but contemporary to the specky. Think about that. Coded by the guy who ported Super Breakout to the 2600.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
So he had some chops.
Let's move on to the next game. But I do like this one. It's one of my favourites on the card.
Shout out for the mouse control. Works well with the mouse control. But to start a new game, you have to press start on the controller.
Right.
It is still in beta mode, so I'm sure that will get.
It's got a little mouse icon. Look, it's got a little mouse icon.
Oh, nice touch.
Yeah, nice touch. Right.
Desert
Falcon.
Right, Desert Falcon. Another one that another upgrade on the one that we played last time.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this on the 2600. This was a real surprise.
Let's see how it goes on the 7800. Desert Falcon is an arcade-style isometric shoot-'em-up. The Pharaoh's great treasures are lost in the desert, and your goal is to steal as many as you can to earn points. The game features a scrolling isometric point of view as you fly through the desert landscapes. The treasures you are after are guarded by creatures including vultures, warriors, flying fish, and more. At the end of each level, you will need to face a large, howling sphinx before you can continue. You will occasionally see hieroglyphs in the sand. Several different power-ups can be gained by hopping over 3 of these hieroglyphs. You may become invincible, warp to the end of the level, earn extra points, create a decoy, or even get a bomb to destroy your enemies. So go on then, Jim. What did you make? You enjoyed the 2600 game, as did I. What did you make of the 7800 version?
Looks nicer, obviously. But I just really struggled with judging the heights.
Yeah.
I think it's much easier to see what's going on and recognise that, that blob there is actually a thing I can see is a hieroglyph. Great. But generally speaking, you're right. Zaxxon, this is not.
Again, this obviously isn't very good for audio listeners, but it's just really difficult. And I don't remember struggling to judge the height at all.
No.
On the 2600.
Yeah, I mean, you do know you have to pick up hieroglyphs, don't you, Jim?
I think he's just busy trying to shoot down what's in front of him.
I'm just shooting whatever. Yeah, I'm just shooting whatever's coming.
Okay, you're meant to land and pick up hieroglyphs to get power-ups and bonuses.
But I completely agree with you, Jim. Fundamentally, I mean, I really enjoyed the 2600 version as well, as we said on that episode. And again, like you, I've played this quite a bit now, and I really struggle to judge the heights too. And I never had that problem on the 2600 version. It just, because it was simpler, it just seemed like there was almost just like 2 heights on the ground and flying. And if you were flying, you'd shoot the flying things. If you were on the ground, you'd shoot the on the ground things. And for that reason, I find it far less enjoyable than the 2600 version.
Yeah.
Couldn't see how far I was up against the enemies either. That was annoying.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great though, doesn't it?
Fantastic.
It does look really nice. Yeah, it looks really nice.
The animation of the bird is amazing. That's really lovely.
It scrolls really smoothly as well.
Levels
reminds me a little bit of Blue Max, got to be said.
I don't know Blue Max.
That's a really good game similar to this one, really, but with a biplane rather than a bird.
Generally not a fan of isometric shooters, though, are you guys? I mean, I don't like Zaxxon at all.
No, I'm not a fan of Zaxxon. I don't mind Up and Down. That's a little isometric game.
Point on the Neo Geo is another one, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, they didn't really hang around, did they?
But yeah, I always struggle with the isometric games on the spec. Like Head Over Heels and even Batman. I think it's maybe something to do with the viewpoint. I don't know. I just struggled.
But they were faux 3D, weren't they? I mean, they created an illusion of 3D, whereas once actual 3D came in the mid-90s, there was no need really for isometric. Although I feel like it's one of those things that's kind of coming back, isn't it? From a
It is, like a modern retro. I remember Lumo.
Yeah, exactly.
Was Lumo was quite big a few years ago.
Crow Country.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's coming back, but no, I've never been a fan. Partly because I've always struggled to judge the heights in these isometric games.
Yeah.
And you'll get to a boss in a minute, Jim. And again, I just found it very difficult to kind of because you got to shoot it into face.
Face.
And to quote Mr. Holly, and I couldn't. I found it really difficult on this version. So yeah,
you're crashing all the time, aren't you? You just can't.
Yeah.
You definitely really, can't see. Yeah.
It's just really struggling. Really, I think it's just I don't know. Some people struggle with VR, don't they? Maybe they get like sick in VR. I don't get sick in VR, but put me in an isometric game and I'm terrible.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something in it.
So it's a very pretty game. It does a good job of building from the original 2600 title, but I don't know. Seems when you actually get into this game and the system of it, it's a wee bit repetitive. Yes. But I did like landing and picking up the hieroglyphs and getting all the superpowers and see what they did. Some of those bonus points, but sometimes it's like, you're now invincible, which is really handy.
I'd say play the 2600 version, because that...
Yeah, me too.
I thought that was all right. And I enjoyed playing that one.
Okay, let's move on.
Moving on. Haunted House.
Ah.
I think this is one me. Haunted House. Hidden throughout a haunted mansion are 3 pieces of a magical urn. Your goal is to enter the mansion, retrieve all 3 before you lose 9 lives. The game is played from an overhead point of view where you see only your eyeballs as you explore 4 floors of the maze-like mansion. To make your mission even more difficult, there are various creatures wandering throughout. Tarantulas, giant vampire bats, and one fast-moving ghost will all cause you to lose a life if they touch you. As a defense against creatures, a magical scepter can be found in the mansion, which will make you immune to its inhabitants. You can also find special keys that will allow you to unlock doors. You can only carry 1 item at a time, including the urn. At some point, you will have to face your fears if you want to escape. Use the select game mode, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So, 1982, Haunted House. Is this the first ever survival horror game?
I don't know. I think that's clutching at straws. But
it's reaching a little bit, but
it's a little bit.
I think. I mean, in my opinion, this is very close to what we would later call survival horror. You have limited. You don't have limited resources, but you're. So, do you know what's going on here, Jim?
I've got my little torch thing, and I'm trying to find these 3 of these little pieces here. And then when you've got
really, what you need to be doing, the first thing you need to do really is your character. For those who can't see the stream, your character is represented by two eyes,
googly eyes,
and you're moving through an overhead representation of a haunted mansion. The floor, what floor you're on, as well as having a number in the bottom left of the screen, it changes colour. There are certain stairs that can take you up and down. So you've got to map out the mansion, which changes depending on the game mode. You've got to identify how you go up and down. You've obviously got to keep away from the baddies. On the simplest of game modes, you don't need to use the match really to see where you're going, other than the match lights up the various pieces of the urn.
Yeah.
You have to collect all 3 pieces of the urn. It then forms as a whole, and then you have to get back to the start. But really, the first thing you should be doing is finding the scepter, because with the scepter, you can't be harmed by the enemies. You have limited lives, and if all your lives run out, it's game over, and your score depends on how many matches you use and how many lives you lose. In later game modes, the matches, you need the matches to light up the way around the mansion, and the more matches you use, the lower your score. The other key thing about this game is that you can't carry more than one thing at once. So if you've got a scepter, you can't pick up the pieces of the urn. So you need to either mentally make a note of where the pieces of the urn are, or you have to physically write it down. And because you need to really run around with the scepter, so you can't be harmed by the baddies. What did you make of this, Chris? I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's really very imaginative. and remarkable what they could do with the limited technology they had or power they had available to them. They really tried to say, well, we can only do this much, we can only see this much. What can we do in that condition? And they come up with this really inventive game. And I love the hell. I mean, although Jim here is really struggling to leave the second floor,
I can't find the last piece, can I?
That's it. You've just gone down to the first floor now, Jim. That is part of the challenge, and those little side alcoves as well could have staircases.
Yeah,
Part of the challenge is mentally mapping your way around the.
Yeah, because the layout of each sort of floor is the same, but it just changes colour. And what you need to do, Jim, is you drop your things. You drop the things off here, and then you come back to them.
You can drop them off, can you?
You can only drop them when you pick something else up, can't you?
Right, that's right. Okay.
I think you have to wait until you've completely compiled the urn, and then you take it back, and then it's game over. And this is the problem with it, right?
Yeah.
Is that once you've there you go, Jim. You're up to floor 3 now.
Yeah.
Once you've done it, the only variety is you play on each of the successive game modes. Just makes it that little bit harder. You need the matches to see more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think the mansion gets bigger. I think the max it goes to is 6 floors, and the urns randomly could be anywhere.
Yeah.
So once you've done it once, it kind of loses its appeal for me pretty quickly.
Other than the sheer challenge of actually doing it in the highest difficulty, which I think is quite common for video games, even to this day, but especially back then. They did that a lot. They used the lower difficulty settings to introduce the concepts to the game, because watching it on the stream right now, it makes no sense. If you're just watching why are you just a pair of box? I mean, a pair of eyes
thing around
and there's an orange thing around you. What's that for? And it's all very peculiar.
So Jim has now, for those watching, Jim has now compiled the urn from its 3 parts, and if he gets it back to the entrance on the ground floor, he will win. And that will be the end of the game. But look, with a bit of imagination, you get the lightning flashes. Oh, he's out alive. So.
Out alive.
You get lightning flashes. There's good sound as well in this.
Really good. It's definitely one of the gems on the cart for me. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
With a bit of with a lot of imagination, because it does take a lot of imagination, but with a lot of imagination, you can imagine yourself kind of creeping around
if I
house.
Played this back in the day, I would have been really scared because I was a wee little nipper then, and B, I would have been absolutely drawn by this because it just makes you have to fill in all the imagination gaps like you would not believe.
Yeah.
Because you being a pair of eyeballs and a glowing red orb or orange orb, but that sense of claustrophobia is really well done.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Really good
what
stuff.
What do you think, Jim, now that you played it? You got the scepter now. So
I've got the scepter, so I'm invincible, but I can't pick up anything else.
Got the scepter?
Yeah, so now the idea is now to go and find the 3 pieces of urn, kind of make a mental note of where they are, and then run and collect them quickly. And escape.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this, to be honest. I think it's it's well presented. I think it's really nicely presented. I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't really do much for me, to be honest.
Well, I think it's one of the gems, but obviously mileages vary. Shall we move on?
Please do. Yes.
Okay, what have we got next?
Human Cannonball.
Oh, I like this one.
1978.
78 people. You think? Well, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. It's up to me to read, isn't it? So here we go.
Yes,
it is.
In Human Cannonball, your goal is to fire a man out of a cannon and have him land in a bucket of water.
Yes.
To do this, you need to adjust your cannon so the position, angle, and firing speed are just right. You score a point for each successful landing, and the game ends after 7 attempts. Several game variations included, which allow you to have the position, angle, and speed all set by the player, or have one or more of these fixed in the fixed position, or have one or more of these randomly set by the computer. If you wish to make the game more challenging, you can also set a moving bucket to make timing more critical. So this is basically Angry Birds, circa 1977.
Yeah.
Fettuccine Brothers, the game.
Yeah.
Anyone get the Monkey Island reference?
Oh, yes.
I love this game.
It's just very silly. Also, precursor to Scorched Earth. If you don't know that game.
Yeah, tanks,
worms.
Yeah,
all of
and
that.
I enjoyed tanks as well. Well done, Jim.
Yeah.
And the way he celebrates when he lands.
I love it.
It just sticks out the bucket, doesn't he?
He sticks out the bucket and goes, woo!
Yeah.
It's just, this is yet another extension of the carnival game that you would play at, fairs and fun fairs. That's what a lot of the games were built like that, designed like that, because the sensibilities of the people playing the 2600 were going to carnivals and fairs. So,
although it could be seen as a bit dark if you imagine that these are real humans that are being, because they might celebrate when they land in the water, but what are they doing when they're squished on the other side of the screen?
Indeed, you fire them right into the side of the bucket rather than into it. That's always worrying.
Like that.
This was, given that this basically was, after the launch games, this was one of the first games released for the 2600, and I think there's a lot of fun to be had here, especially in 2-player mode when you can compete and the wind changes with each, and you have to change your trajectory, and I think there's a lot basically squished.
I loved it, and the sprite is so small.
Yeah,
so small. Most sprites in 2600 games are 3 or 4 times bigger than this fella, but he's tiny. So that was nice seeing that, seeing the high resolution. Oh, here we go. But fine, no, not quite. No, didn't quite.
It's a very simple game, but I think I think there's 10 or 15 minutes of very good fun to be had with this one.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's like,
yeah. There's something.
There's so much.
It's compelling, isn't it? To just have one more game. Yeah, definitely.
Because with every one as well, you get it right. You have to then adjust because it'll change the wind speed, or your cannon will move, and
it's so tempting to go, oh, that's more or less the same as the last one. I'll just fire it again in the same position. Don't do that.
Don't do that. You got to take into account that wind direction, the wind strength. Yeah.
And in games 5, 6, 7, so I'm reading from the manual here. In games 5, 6, 7, and 8, there is a window which moves. There's a window in front of the water tower, and you have to fire your man through the window into the water tower.
Can we see that, Jim?
Well.
Go.
There you go.
Here we are. That's it.
There you go. So you got to go through the window and into the water tower. So that adds an extra layer of challenge. This is a good game for 1978.
It is, yeah.
I think so. It's simple, but simple fun.
And it does demonstrate there's nothing new under the sun.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for these Atari games that where the simpler the better.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
I think what would have been nice would be to have some sort of target that you could punch through a target or something like that.
You're not doing very. I think you have to angle it way up, mate, because he's just flying over the top. Anyway.
I think we might have needed an HD remake for that, Jim. I think we might have needed.
This is great for podcast listeners. They're going, "What are you banging on about?" Trust me, if you watch this, you'll know what we're talking about. Jim is not doing an excellent job of this.
No, how not to play, but I think Angry Birds in a basic.
Yeah.
Let's move on. What's next?
Millipede on the 2600.
Millipede.
We did promise. There we
go. 1984. 2600 ROM. The bothersome bugs are back. If you thought the centipede was a pain in the neck, wait until you meet the millipede. While it makes its way across the field at a greater speed than its predecessor, it also brings a bunch of nasty new friends with it. Inchworms, ladybugs, dragonflies, bees, earwigs, and mosquitoes join the returning spider in trying to ruin your day. You've upgraded your arsenal as well, fortunately. Blow up a DDT bomb by shooting it to earn extra points and create a cloud of bug-blasting death. Just when you think you've got a handle on things, a deadly swarm attacks. How long can you hold off these ghastly garden invaders? So, who thinks that the world needed a sequel to Centipede?
Not me.
No.
And this is 2 years after the arcade game as well.
What, 2 years after the arcade version of Millipede?
Yeah, so in 1982, Millipede came to the arcade.
Okay.
And this is the 2600 version, and boy, does it show.
It does, doesn't it? After playing Centipede on the 7800.
This is the problem. Yeah. When you've got the opportunity to essentially side by side the 7800 version of Centipede with this supposed sequel, but you're going back to the 2600, I don't know. It suffers, doesn't it, in comparison?
It does. All the charm from the sprite work is lost, isn't it? Obviously, it can't replicate it. So you just got you sort of square blocks and
the whole screen is shifting down, and the little mushroom things, which don't look like mushrooms, are much harder to blow up. They take away more bullets to actually destroy. Don't know what it's about. It's just all about Millipede, more of the same, only more of the same.
Just leaving aside this port, I mean, as a game, as I said earlier, I really like the original Centipede. I like it as a game. But less is more for me. I mean, it's a good game because it's in its purity, of design. I mean, it's a fun shooter. Whereas once this starts adding in the kind of DDT bombs and stuff like that, and I don't know, it just feels like it's more for more's sake.
It's the shifting down of the whole screen and these things dropping down on you, and it's just more of it. It's just more intense, isn't it? It just went, let's just crank it up to 11.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I'm just not really sure it was necessary. And this, I also, again, it was the early days of Evercade as well. It was only cart number 5 we're talking about here. Yeah. And I imagine, they put on anything that they could get the license for. But I would question the wisdom if they did have a choice of putting this on alongside the 7800. But it doesn't need both.
No.
And this game, I think, suffers by comparison with its...
Which is a shame, because it's not that bad of a 2600 game.
This bit's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this bit's all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bonus level for the listeners
where everything sort of drops from the top.
So, which is a nice little interlude. But generally speaking, I think, my advice is probably stick with the 7800 version of Centipede, which I think plays a better game than this one.
Yeah, but like you say, it's an early cart, and I'm guessing they're probably just playing the numbers game, aren't they?
Yeah. Like I said, it's not unpleasant. It really isn't.
No.
But it just as a 2600 game, it's actually quite an impressive feat, especially how many sprites are flying around the screen. It shouldn't actually work, but it does. So credit where credit is due.
But no reason to play it when the 7800 version of Centipede is on here.
One's on the same cart. It's a bit peculiar.
Yeah.
But like I said, not terrible, but yeah.
Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Planet Smashers.
Planet Smashers.
89, 7800 game. The Planet Smashers are on their way to our home planet. With a name like that, you can be pretty sure they aren't making a social call. Hop into your advanced starship and battle the enemy forces, blasting your way through all 7 waves of the aggressive invaders. Be careful not to let too much go past you, as the planet's shields can only hold out so long. Pick up items dropped by the foes to improve your odds. The only way to actually defeat a wave is by collecting 3 coloured warp capsules in the correct order. Do that and you'll zip off for a one-on-one meeting with the boss of the wave. They won't be happy to see you. Take them down and move on to the next wave. If you've got the guts and the skill, you might just save your home. Failure is not an option.
1990 game for the 7800, this one. What did you think, Chris?
Hated it.
Why?
I just think it's some enemies are just plain annoying.
Yeah.
The scrolling down and your state of health and how many shields you've got too small at the bottom of the screen. This presentation thing's glitching out.
What is going on with that?
I don't know.
That is weird, isn't it?
It seems like they're trying. I did get to a boss a couple of times.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's too fast the bullet sponge things is really annoying.
Yeah.
These things are when you get bonuses, it's like, oh, you did end up blowing them up, as Jim just did there. This little thing here with the rotating thing going across the screen, so annoying. And when you hit these crystals, you have to get them in a certain order.
Yeah, you do.
And otherwise you won't get to the boss, what's that about? And you don't want to shoot that, Jim, so you want to get these shields. And then you pick up and you get some shields.
You're going to die there, Jim.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are asteroids, believe it or not.
Yeah, don't pick them up. You don't pick them up, no.
You got to
shoot them, not pick them up.
Shoot them.
You remember that game that we played earlier called Asteroids with those
There you go.
I do, yeah.
It's
They'll
a very...
kill you like they will.
So I read the instructions for this. It's just so confusing. Feature after feature after feature. And it's just like, this is not fun. This is not fun. This is typical of Western development shooters. Don't know what they're doing.
So I will launch the case for the defense here with this one. I think there's a good game in here that is trying to get out, but it's let down by some dodgy implementation. Mm-hmm. So for the listeners, what you need to do is there are certain of these enemies that will drop like these warp drives. There are 3 of them. They have to be collected in order. You don't know what the order is until so it's a bit of trial and error while you establish the order. It's very difficult. I mean, if for anyone who's watching,
but you can change the order of them.
You can change once you know the order. You can change the color of them by shooting them. It's very difficult. You collect all 3 and then you get to a boss, which is really, really hard. And then if the boss kills you, you don't start again at the boss. You have to do the whole process of collecting the warp drives again. I found the collision detection to be a bit wonky. Mm-hmm. There's no real indication as to when you've been caused damage. The enemies are spongy. Again, there's no real feedback for when you've hit them. It's too difficult for its own good. But I think this mechanic of collecting these things in order to progress, gives it an extra little layer of strategy, which I quite appreciated.
I
just think the execution is too difficult.
The first one, Jim, is purple, by the way.
The first one's purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It takes that sort of vertical scrolling shooter. And just gives it a little bit of gives the player a little bit of something to think about.
Yeah, something to think about. That's right.
Yeah.
Rather than just shooting everything.
I like the innovation that way, but it's just the execution, as you say, Chris. It's just not there.
I don't think so.
And it's another sort of added bonus is that not only have you got lives, but the Earth has got a shield.
Yeah,
and
that's
the more you let sort of things go by that you don't shoot down, that shield depletes. So
it acts like a timer.
It's like a timer, basically.
Yeah.
So there you go. Jim's got the first one. There you go. And I think the second one's green. Yeah, the second one's green. And the third one's yellow.
I don't know what they were thinking with these little. I don't know what they were thinking with these little space sperms.
I know. No, what are they? Because they don't seem to do anything other than kill you. But the other thing I quite appreciated as well is when you get a game over, you get this graphic of the Earth being destroyed. Reminded me a little bit of Missile Command in that sense. You know, there's a jeopardy to your home planet. I don't know. I didn't hate this. I found it.
I wanted it to be better. I really wanted it to. I really tried to like this game, but it just did what it just said no. It just basically is just telling me it's not for us. Cruel. The shield thing's coming down and he got blown up. Never mind.
It's tough.
It's too difficult for its own good.
Yeah.
I've got a chance of getting through to the boss.
Let's just see if Jim can get to the boss. So sorry for the.
Then we can
demonstrate.
They can demonstrate the boss.
Jim is at the boss.
Yellow. Don't shoot. There you go. And now you can actually get to the boss. And there he is. It's this weird little googly-eyed thing that moves too fast, shoots way too much. There's no way of defending yourself. You're doing a good job. You might do it.
I'm all right
1 of 7.
When I'm just shooting stuff and I ain't got to think about
one of the guns is down. There you go.
Well, how are you going to do it?
Oh, no, don't.
You've done it.
Oh, there you go. better player than I.
So Jim, you got game over. But had you had another life, you would have had to have started the whole kind of collecting the warp drives again.
Yeah,
you would. Yeah.
And there you go.
But then you know, nice the animation there of the Earth blowing up. I don't know. Bit jankily sort of implemented in it, but I don't mind it.
I don't hate it.
I just, could have been.
Move on.
Would have, could have, should have. Like the title screen there. Nice.
Here we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
This is a game that needed. It's just me. It's me, isn't it?
Afterburner. A poor man's afterburner.
Radar lock. You're locked into a fight to the death air combat with the enemy. You may be outnumbered. Somehow you've been separated from your buddies, but this is far from your first mission. Still, the odds are against you. You stumble across a bomber and an entire fleet of escorters, and it's going to take every ounce of skill and stamina to get out of this mess alive. Fire through the 5 white-knuckle missions to air-to-air combat, using your radar to find targets and shoot them out of the sky. There's no time to rest, so you have to refuel mid-flight between missions. The aircraft you'll face in each mission get tougher and tougher, so you need to step up appropriately. Fight well, you may just make it home in one piece. You're right, it is Afterburner. But I'm going to ask you to start the game, because visually, it's not bad, is it?
I think that's quite nice.
89, though. 89.
Hardware, yeah.
89, though. Still making games.
Look how far the system has come.
I know.
Air-Sea Battle in 1977. The 2600 truly is an amazing piece of kit, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
This game. It's basically a 3D shooter.
Yeah.
So
it's Afterburner, isn't it?
This game had an incredible control scheme. You used both joysticks.
Yeah.
One joystick you used to control to select what weapon you used. The other one just to control the aircraft. And it has a full radar thing. You can have missiles, you can have machine guns, you can have dumb fire, proximity missiles as they call them, or heat-seeking missiles.
That's it.
And these are all drones you're fighting at the moment. Now, I must confess, I'm going to ask you two this. Did any of you successfully refuel your plane?
No, I couldn't work out what was going on at that point. I hadn't read the manual, though, at that point, so I didn't. I couldn't work out what was going on. But that's what you need to do, right?
You do, yeah.
Wave.
I got halfway, almost there. Got the little tube came out halfway down, and then suddenly I was like, "Oh, I'm not quite lined up," and I sort of moved the ship or the plane a little bit, and it went, "Oh no, you've disconnected," and off it goes. But
so this game was programmed by and designed by Doug Neubauer. And if that name's not ringing a bell, he is the guy who designed and programmed Star Raiders.
Okay.
Which explains the whole refueling thing. That guy was obsessed with, you must do something before you shoot more baddies.
Mm.
So there needs to be a thing.
So there's, on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a long-range radar. In the bottom middle of the screen is your local radar for visuals for... I think you're now at the situation where you're trying to find an enemy or you're trying to find the refuel, because, I don't know, but if you just keep flying, you see the long-range radar. Yeah, I think it's up in the... Yeah, and you're not getting any closer to it. So if you press the fire button, you're shooting things.
Not at the minute.
No.
So
you're accelerating now.
Can't you?
You're accelerating now because you're actually in refuel mode. You need to get to the refuel station. This is what is going on.
Yeah.
So, and you've got to get the white thing in the bottom of the screen kind of in the middle of it.
Apologies for the audio listeners.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. But if anything, I'm not going to apologise at all, because this is the level of complexity and depth this game has.
Yeah.
So for us to describe, there's a little radar in the bottom right-hand corner, and then there's another one right in the middle, which is your local sort of visuals for radar lock and stuff. And on the left-hand side is your fuel gauge, which is going to rapidly run out, and unless Jim successfully docks.
It has run out. Almost.
Okay. Almost.
So look, here's the thing with this. In my opinion, this game would have been far better without this little intermission.
Yeah.
Like, do away with the fuel gauge.
But I'm not sure what... I don't feel like it is giving you enough information for what you need to do.
No, you have to read the manual there, mate.
No.
If you press the fire button, you can accelerate towards it and you'll get there faster.
You need to read the manual.
You do need to read the manual for this one.
There we go.
This is a fun game, though. I mean, it is Afterburner. isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
There he is. Look, there he is, and he's gone. Yeah. That's what you need to do.
I nearly had it. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Each wave gets progressively more difficult.
That's right.
Wave 1 is drones. Then we get to interceptors and patrollers, bombers, stealth fighters, and then the final wave is super bombers. And as Chris said, the unique thing is that dual stick control, optional, but you can't change your weapons otherwise if you don't have.
Yeah, the 2-player mode is where you have the co-pilot changing your weapons and stuff, and the other player controlling the plane itself.
Yeah, which is a bit of a fudge. It's not really a 2-player game.
It's
at all,
not,
is it?
but
no. Every game.
Nice, but you can be Goose for a bit. You know,
you could get your sort of chairs in the living room. Couldn't you put one behind the other?
Yeah.
It's a bit like Steel Battalion, Chris.
It is a little bit of like Steel Battalion. No, it's not. I enjoyed this one, though, for the record. I enjoyed it, especially reading the instructions and getting a hang of it. I liked it a lot. Big fun, big thumbs up. So much, they're digging so much out of such a humble system. So, big thumbs up for this. Very impressive.
I thought, given the hardware, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Real sports tennis.
This might be a quick one.
This will be a quick one. 1983 Atari 2600.
1983. So Real Sports Tennis is a tennis game for 2 players or 1 player against the computer. Great. The game follows standard tennis rules and allows you to hit forehand or backhand shots to all areas of the court, as well as serves and lobs. I love that it's a feature. You can hit the ball anywhere in the court.
Anywhere.
The type of shot you use will depend on whether your player is moving towards the net, hard hit, away from it, lob, or standing still, normal shot. Your player will swing the racket automatically, so you just need to worry about your positioning. You can play a game of singles or doubles, and multiple skill levels are included. Look, I mean, what can you say? It's a 1983 tennis game. In 1983, did tennis on a video game system get any better than this? Probably not. Does it hold up in 2020 as a sports simulation? Absolutely hell no.
But for some reason, I couldn't stop playing.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? I love a tennis game.
It's something about tennis games. It is ultimately just Pong. It really is. Only in 3D.
Yeah, with a smaller paddle. Lovely shot. With a smaller paddle.
Oh, it's just when you get some really good rallies going. And somehow, I don't know why, I'm not going to use the C word, but my goodness, this game just wouldn't let go. It just I had to stop. I had to tell myself to stop. I don't know why. I just found it fun. I just found it fun. Even though I've just loved the fact that it's just like you go. There's no, honestly, everyone, like you don't hit the fire button at all.
No,
your return is
apart from serving, isn't it? You serve is using,
but you only do it when you're moving. It's just bonkers. You know, there's no like power on and stuff like that. This is not virtua tennis by any stretch of the imagination. Oh no! But it's still, I liked it for what it is. You know, if I was in a 2-player game of this, I would have a freaking ball with it. I really would. It's same. so. I liked it a lot. I think it's I'm not sure why Chris hates it so much, but it's you can do amazing shots. You can really, I just like it. Sorry,
you can't do amazing shots.
You can.
You can angle it. You can angle it.
Yeah, look, he's been doing it a couple of times in the stream. You can see it.
The tennis court doesn't even look like a tennis court.
I know it isn't. It hasn't got the right markings on it. Let it
go.
There's
no lines, that's for sure.
The lines are wrong. I know.
They could have got the lines right, though. Why did they choose not to?
I don't. There might be some memory management thing we don't know.
No way. What? Two vertical lines?
I don't know. I liked it. Go away.
So I'm with you. Chris.
There you go.
I like it. I tell you what, you come round, we're going to play a bit of tennis, a bit of basketball.
Yeah.
We'll play
a bit of bowling, and we'll have a right good time.
I'm surprised, to be honest. I mean, I wasn't expecting you guys to say that. I mean,
visually it looks amazing for what it is. Look at it. The animations of them for a 2600 game. Astounding. I'm sorry.
Look,
no.
If I had this game in 1983 and the 2600, I would have absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But now...
it is out of all the games we played. This is not the worst. I liked it. Sorry, I make
there you go, listeners.
I have no make. I make no apologies.
Mileage
will vary significantly.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. Moving on
before Chris reaches the screen and strangles me.
Solaris, 1986.
Oh, this
Atari
is important.
2600.
This game is important. Go on.
Who's 10?
I think it's Jim's turn, isn't it?
Is it me? Is it right? Solaris then. The Xylons are back and attempting another takeover of the galaxy. Your goal is to
not infringed.
Your goal is to destroy all of the Xylon fighters you encounter, rescue cadets that are trapped on Xylon planets, and to find the planet Solaris to protect it from Xylons. Your spaceship is equipped with galactic map, which can be used to warp to different sectors. It shows the location of Xylon squadrons, enemy planets, Federation star bases, wormholes, clusters of stars, and the planet Solaris, if you can find it. Warp around the galaxy and battle the Xylons to keep them from attacking bases and planets. Watch your fuel. When it gets low, you'll need to warp to a base to refuel. When flying over a Xylon planet, you will see your cadets on the surface, rescue them all, and with a double D, you'll rescue bonus points and an extra ship. Can you locate Solaris and drive off the Xylons once and for all? So
I didn't play this.
Don't need to read that again.
Beg your pardon?
I actually didn't play this one. I ran out of time. I wanted to spend some time on this.
You played the tennis game over this. Okay, there's a thing to note.
But this, the listeners can't see this, but just for the listeners, this game looks incredible.
It does.
Yeah.
1986, this game looks amazing.
Yeah.
For a 2600 game. It's incredible. Tell us all about it, Chris.
So this is like
before you do, Chris.
Yeah.
Can I just be honest? I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And
Did you read the manual?
And the flashing. The flashing is horrific.
It is pretty bad. Yeah.
I don't suffer from.
So if
anything like.
If you move over to the left, go left. Yeah. See what a little and go up to, and then go left again to go there. That's where the baddies are, right? So you want to go there. Now we don't move your controller. If you press up on don't move. Oh, never mind. Because when you do a warp, you mean to make sure that the two versions of your ship as you go into warp are merged. Otherwise, you have a bad warp. You lose a lot of fuel. So anyway, so this is a sequel to Star Raiders. This is the game that the developer wanted to make, and he just revisited Star Raiders and just did it again. But this time, your ship, rather than a cockpit view, you see a third-person view of your ship, making it all rather dynamic. And there's all these asteroids flying around, and it's just really intense things going on. And you've got to keep your eye on your fuel. But you've got to also make sure that planets are invaded by the Xylons. It's fantastic stuff. It's all there, all very similar to the original sort of the precursor to this game, which is the Star Raiders games.
Is it as fully featured as Star Raiders, Chris?
It can't be because it's got the same kind of features, but rather than having a separate controller that you had to have in the original 2600 version of Star Raiders, you have to have a special keypad. This just does away with that and simplifies it.
Yeah, right.
So
it's more of like a because Star Raiders was principally a computer game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So
this is almost like a true console version of that. But it's still got Jim, for the listeners here, Jim's on like a galactic map. Where
he is,
works presumably just like Star Raiders, where you have to go to the zones where the Xylons are, clear them out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have to go to your base to refuel.
Yeah.
Wow, so it is basically a third-person, slightly stripped-back version of Star Raiders.
Yeah.
Programmed by the same guy, Doug Neubauer, who also went on to do Radar Lock that we looked at just a minute ago. What a guy.
Yeah. I do like this game. It's very difficult, though. if you don't know what you're doing, we have to read the manual on this one.
Yeah, do you know what though? You do. You do have to read the manual, but it's not a complex game by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it is playable. After Chris has just explained that,
it's you got all the you got a major starbase there. You're blowing up the Xylon starbase, which looks very similar to a Cylon starbase.
Copyright's not infringed.
Copyright not infringed on not at all. But visually, I think it's incredible. The shading, the dipple effect,
the colours,
so many, these sprites flying around the screen. It shouldn't work. The Atari 600 shouldn't be able to do this, but it's doing it. Yeah. It's beyond comprehension. It really is.
It is incredible. I mean, from a purely technical point of view, it is an incredible piece of work.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, it's a shoot 'em up, isn't it? You go to a sector, you destroy everything that's there, and you leave. Star Raiders is a classic, and it's a wonderful game as well. For its age, 1980, when that came out, and this looks like it's one that's definitely worth playing. I missed it on this cart. I didn't play
this is a bit of a gem on the cart, I'm afraid. This one, very very excited to see it on the roster there. So I
think this is one that I might come back and have another look at.
I do like this game.
It justifies it. I mean, there's enough. As I said, I mean, I don't know what the presumably there's multiple game modes and it might vary up.
Yeah.
Although I can't see anything in the manual.
You do get stuff damaged, and you get weapons and scanners damaged, and you're on a planet. So Jim's back on a planet, picking up. Hopefully he'll pick up a dude. You never know. Or he's going to pick up. These are enemies you're shooting at here. But you run out of fuel, and that's the end of the game. And there's his name, Doug Newbar. There he is.
There you go.
Copyright 1986.
What an amazing guy! Just looking. I've just opened up Wikipedia here as we're talking, and he said he didn't get paid a lot of money for doing this. But he said that the games he enjoyed working on the most were those that he didn't receive a lot of money for, and the ones he got paid a lot for. It's a bit similar today, isn't it? Those who are doing stuff, they're probably the ones who make lots of money.
I think
less creative freedom.
I think a big advance is that you do actually land and skim over planets in this game.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. But definitely a bit of a gem for me, Solaris.
Cool.
Let's move on.
I'll come back and check this one out.
Yeah,
definitely. But apart from the flashing is horrific.
Oh god!
We're into our final 5 games.
The final 5.
Sprint Master. This was 1988 on the Atari 26.
It's you, Chris, you doing this one?
Okay, let me just make this bigger then so I can actually see what I'm reading. Sprint Master is an action racing game played from an overhead perspective. Think supercars. The first of 2 drivers to race around the track for the required number of laps wins. A bonus will sometimes appear in the roadway. Collect these to increase your car's traction or gain a temporary speed boost. Other obstacles such as oil slicks may also appear in the roadway, which will cause you to lose control and speed. There are 9 different tracks with varying levels of difficulty to race on, and you can select blacktop, dirt, or ice surfaces for each. You can also choose how many laps the race will be and whether cars will bounce or crash when they hit an obstacle. Wow. So this is basically, think RC Pro-Am, think supercars, think Crazy Ivan off-road.
Actually, it's Super Sprint. They tried. I'm gonna hold off. You'll see everyone. Well, those of you watching and on the stream and on video on YouTube, So this is a very very late, 1988 game, and
it's unplayable.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit rough, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is so difficult to control the car.
I managed to win a few races with it, but honestly, I think it's got to be applauded for effort. Them trying to make Super Sprint on the 2600 is no mean feat. It really isn't. And I'm talking about Super Sprint here, not Sprint 2, which is the original black and white sprint game. But there's one particular map which I'd like Jim to play. It's the third one. Try the third one, I think it is. So
it's very, very difficult, especially
that
when
one.
You pick up
Do
the speed
this
power
one because you'll see what I mean, and we'll reveal it when we're recording. So when we're talking, but take the turn, keep going, take the turn, and then go across.
It's a jump.
It's a jump. It's a jump. I just really, you gotta celebrate the developers' attempts at making something which was nigh on impossible. And Jim's having a really bad time of it. It's not a great game, unfortunately. They did try.
Have you noticed as well? So I'm showing you here. If you take that jump at an angle,
it won't work.
Other than head,
off
you won't jump. You will not take that jump.
You will not take that jump. No.
It's like Epona in Ocarina of Time. You know, you
now,
hit like a little bit of a.
I'm noticing Jim sort of avoiding the power ups, which is quite amusing. But there are power ups on the track.
Are the little squares.
Squares, yeah. But what do you two think?
Lord help you if you pick up a speed power up.
Oh,
because
God,
if you thought it was uncontrollable before, you wait until you get a speed power up.
It's just not fun. You know, if you want a game like this from this era, this is not the game you buy. It will be not Supercar. It might be Supercars 1.
1988.
88 Supercars. But I think the original Super Sprint, definitely. Fantastic game.
RC Pro-Am on the NES, yeah.
But there's also Grand Prix Simulator by Codemasters. That was also this game as well.
Similar kind
that was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. The C64 version of that is superb. Oh, good look. Jim's got a speed boost. Oh, my goodness. This is not... Now he's got traction, so that's going to help. Didn't make him win the game, though. Bad. Oh, yeah, this is bad.
Also, no other game modes. Your only game modes are 1 or 2 player single races. There's no any kind of semblance of a Grand Prix, you can't even link together like 3 races and have a point accumulation.
Let's just move on. And this is not a good game. I don't think it should be on a cart, quite frankly. I think it's really bad. Really bad.
Move on.
Speaking of which,
Street Racer.
We're going from
1977. Boys. We have to remember that.
It's got mouse support, Jim. So we expect you to do the thing again.
I've not tried this one with mouse support. So
it's got a little mouse icon. There it is. Yeah. Who's reading this one? That's Jim, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, Street Racer. Street Racer is an action, not to be confused with obviously the later Street Fighter Mario Kart-esque game. Street Racer is an action racing game for 1 to 4 players played from an overhead view. The screen is split into 2 lanes, 1 for each player. Each game has a 2-minute and 16-second time limit. Your goal is to earn as many points as possible by the end. In addition to the basic racing version, several other variations are also included that allow you to control a skier, a fighter jet, and more. Modes, blah 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 for 1 player, and then it talks about lots of modes. Fair play that there's a lot here. It's not great, but there's a lot here.
Right. Is there?
They're all the same, aren't they? What are you meant to do? Just overtake other
Just avoid.
Yeah.
This is 77, everyone. So off you pop then, Jim. Go on, start it up.
Right, here we go.
So the only thing that you need to do is just avoid the
Well, you can speed up. If you go faster, you got 2.5 minutes, I think. You got about 2.5 minutes to do it. But you've got to be careful. But you got to get more than the other player. So
you can have 4 players.
Yeah.
Simultaneous.
Yeah. So it's almost like a party game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You would clear the party out pretty quick if you put this on.
You would, yeah. But this is very, very basic.
Yeah, it's also very old. But,
so this is the skiing one.
Oh, this looks like it could be
it looks like
a little bit more fun than the car. So on the skiing one, listeners, you rather than avoiding vehicles, you have to direct your skier through what appear to be little gates.
Little gates,
in the landscape. And this looks a little bit more playable than the car version. I didn't play this one.
The only way you do do this one is you basically, the control is your acceleration is based on if you're pressing the fire button or not.
Yeah.
So the way I did this is as soon as the gate appears on the top of the screen, you let go of the button and you slow down, and then when it goes by, you then increase speed again. So it's basically slow in, fast out.
Yeah.
And then you rack up loads of points. That's it. There's not a lot of skill to it at all.
No.
And that's what bothered me most of all, is just that it's just not much to it. And the other modes are just the variations. This one's really weird. You got to sort of drive up to the top of the screen. That's all you got to do. While avoiding the green blob.
Coming at you.
That's it. There's nothing to it, really.
And then just keep doing it. And
this is one of the worst games on the cart. I'm not.
Honestly, so you think that you would rather play tennis than this?
Yes. Oh, yes.
100% yes.
Oh, God, yes. No, this is up there. This is down there with basketball. This.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think for a 1977 game, 2-player, I think there's a bit of fun to be had here. It's very simple.
It's too simple. I think it's just too carnival-like.
Yeah.
There's only so much I can take of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry.
This was in the first raft of Atari 2600.
It is. It does. It screams it. It reeks it. I get it. It's just we didn't quite know what we had in our hands here, and this is what we've got so far. It's like proof of concept stuff. But
it's funny, isn't it? Because by the early 80s, they'd stopped boasting about 27 game modes. This was very much an early 2600 thing, wasn't it? Really cram in the game modes. Different games when really they're not.
No.
I think there's a bit of fun. Again, I think there's 5 minutes of fun to be had here.
But where's the tennis rackets? That's what I'm asking.
5 minutes more than you can have with tennis.
No,
I think I disagree. It controls all right with the mouse as well, to be fair. This one's... I'm playing a little flying game at the moment with a little plane where you shoot the enemies coming down the screen.
And shoot the things coming down the screen, which you suddenly realise all you got to do is line up and shoot. That's all it is. Tedious! So,
Let's move on.
Please do. Street Racer, you can go do one. Go away.
Submarine Commander is next. 1982.
Here we go. This is me.
Cool.
Submarine Commander, you are at the helm of a submarine equipped with radar, sonar, depth charge indicators, and torpedoes, and fuel and temperature gauges. All these things. As commander of the submarine, you must sink as many enemy ships as you can before you run out of fuel. Once your fuel reaches level 0, the game is over. It's true. Move your periscope to find targets and launch your torpedoes with careful timing. Watch out for the enemy depth charges used. Then it talks about select mode. And there's various modes of play. What does everyone think of this one?
I didn't spend an awfully long time playing this.
No, me neither.
It's a bit of a shooting gallery with a twist, isn't it?
Yes. Really? That's all it is.
Only this time, you need to use your radar to see when the enemies are coming because if you don't, you'll miss them.
Like I am doing now.
Yeah.
Wonderful graphics.
Really colourful. Colourful.
They look like they were drawn by a 4-year-old.
Yeah, but I do think they're just... You can go up and down, by the way, Jim, just if you know this. Yeah. There you go.
You can add a little bit of aftertouch to your bullets as well.
But they only shoot left or right, and it's all a bit... You've got to shoot the big ones multiple times to sink them.
Again, thinking about the age of this game, there is something fundamentally cool about being a submarine commander, right? I mean, it's been a thing in video games for a long time. One of the earliest arcade games was a submarine thing where you had the big tube that you sort of swung around. It's awesome. It was. I remember as a kid. In 1982, I mean, this, with a lot of imagination, you feel like you are a commander of a sub. And I think in later game modes, in harder game modes, they drop depth charges as well. The ships. So you have to avoid those, and which gives it a little bit of variety. But ultimately, this is not that dissimilar to Air-Sea Battle.
No.
Which came out 5 years prior to this. I feel like by 1982, the Atari games were moving on.
Yeah, there's this small speedboat ones that go so fast I just cannot hit one.
Yeah,
played it for a while,
and some of the ships take
a couple of hits.
Take two whatever they are you're firing. To sink. And then ultimately, it's a case of how many points can you score.
That's it. Before you run out of fuel. That's it.
Before you run out of fuel.
That's the only challenge to it. It's like very simple. But I love the the visual styling of it really, I love that. I mean, if I got this as a kid, I would have spent a long time on it back in the day, but trying to imagine it and trying to build something out of it that wasn't there, and I would have absolutely monstered it as well. I would have been on highest difficulty in no time and just, trying to eke out as much as I could out of the game, because it probably would have cost about something like this, probably for like 40, 50 pounds.
Yeah, and adjusted for inflation. Wow.
That's a lot of money. People moaning about game prices now.
Yeah.
yeah.
You wait until you got home, haven't spent your 40 hard-earned pounds on this.
Yeah.
And then you fire this up,
Yeah.
It's not GTA 6, is it?
It is. Well, no, we won't be seeing that until next year, will we? Oh, that's aged this podcast. Sorry, everyone. It's. I love the colouring and the visual style and the intent, but it tries to be more than it is.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately a shooting gallery again.
Yeah.
Thanks, Atari.
Yeah.
Right.
Bit rubbish.
Moving on.
That one wasn't a fan.
Almost there.
Wizard.
The end is in sight. Right. Now. So Chris.
Your turn, Jim?
No, it's your turn.
Your turn,
okay.
Mate, yeah.
Wizard, originally created in 1980, Wizard went unreleased until 2005. So this is Discard's Aquaventure. You play as a wizard from Errata, is that? From Errata, and must do battle with imps who have stolen the eternal flame of strength. The wizard is faster than the imp, but the imp can pass through walls and fire at a faster rate than the wizard. The imp is invisible unless it is in the wizard's line of sight, but a thumping heartbeat will sound as the wizard gets closer to the imp. The winner is the one who deals 100 points of damage to the other first. There you go. I really like this game. I think I love its use of sound. That thumping
that's really good.
Because for the viewers who can see here, and I'll describe it for the listeners. So you're in you can see the whole of the maze on the screen at any one time. It starts off in the most simplest form. With a you can move around and you can hear this heartbeat, and as you get closer to the wizard, you can't see the wizard, but the heartbeat gets louder and louder, and then if the wizard is in your line of sight, then you can see it, or if you've shot it, you can see it. And each time you shoot the imp, a damage counter is ticking up, and once that damage counter gets to 99, you move on to level 2. And it basically just repeats. And that's the problem with the game. As fun as it is, puzzling out where the imp is, taking down the imp, it does get repetitive very quickly, because on each level, all that happens is the imp gets faster and its shots do more damage. And therefore, there is just no variety in the gameplay, and that's where it suffers.
You can do a super shot.
Like hide and seek.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You can do a super shot by holding the Threadbare down as the wizard.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because of the way we're recording this, I haven't got any audio, so I'm playing without any audio, so I can't hear anything.
Yeah, well, it's a major disadvantage. Audio is absolutely essential. Mind you, though, once you've located the imp, you don't really need the audio, but it does help at the start of each level. I don't know. You've obviously started this on some higher difficulty, Jim. Because as you can see there, for the people watching, the imp is using rapid fire. It's moving quite quickly. The imp, as it said in the description, can move through walls, but it can't shoot through walls. What did you think of this, Chris? I again, for 10 or 15 minutes of fun, I really enjoyed this.
I like the concept of it. It was really advanced, and the sprite movement, and it's a very small sprite, and yet still, there's some impressive aspects of it, especially it was done in 1980. But I think like you say, it gets repetitive once you figured it out. Once you actually got the big super shot out and you blast it, you just like rinse and repeat. Yeah. And the only thing you've got going, the sense of progression, is how many levels you've done. That's it. So again, all of these games, I'm just finding that I definitely found that all the second generation machines, I do know, I get that the Atari is the most celebrated, but it's just not the best one. It just isn't. And I find the television games and ColecoVision games infinitely more entertaining than this. So they've got like inklings of just almost there, but because of the lack of power and capacity of the machine, it's so let down. But anyway, going back to this, it's got some. Well done, Jim. You've got some potential there, but it just peters out into repetitive nonsense.
Yeah, and then the difficulty modifier on this is that I think if you set the switch to the A position, that flame that the viewers can see that Jim is near there, that is an eternal flame, and if on the advanced difficulty, the imp can capture that, and if the imp does capture it, you can't shoot. So you need to protect that flame as well as taking down the imp. On the easier difficulty, that flame is not really doesn't really factor at all into the gameplay.
No,
your shots recharge quicker the nearer you are to it. But Jim's doing the right thing. That kind of duck and cover there is what you need to do, particularly on higher difficulty levels.
But he's doing really good. But it's just there's
just too repetitive.
Yeah,
it is very repetitive.
It's extremely
tactical. The maze doesn't change or anything.
The maze doesn't even change. No.
It's an extremely tactical game. I'll give it that. And like I said, potentials. It's really, really inventive, and they're really trying to. Something's invisible. You can only see it if you can hear it. All that stuff, wonderful. But again, I'm going to cite AD&D on the Intellivision that did all of that, but way better. Way better.
In two-player mode, the second player controls the imp, but the second player can't see where you are.
Where they are.
So you have to move it yourself, but you have no idea where you the thing that you're controlling is. Which kind of feels a bit weird.
It's a bit odd.
Yeah. I could see this working with a modern remake, with how they've been remaking a lot of these games, Black Widow and stuff with the neon graphics, and I could see it working with different mazes, different enemies and sort of rapid fire modes and stuff like that. Just a little bit more variation. I could see it working.
15 minutes of fun. And it's good. It's a good 15 minutes of fun, but really it has no depth or any longevity.
I think if your main character has different magic attacks for different enemies and all, something I could see.
That.
Yeah, I could see it working.
Yeah, but now you just may as well play Chaos at that point.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Move on. The final game.
Phew. What a marathon.
The best one on the card.
This is, it's bonkers. And I think, Jim, you're reading this one out, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Yar's Revenge. So this is 1982 on the 2600. So take control of an insectoid Yar as it seeks to destroy the Cottle? Break a path through the Cottle's shield, charge up the Zarlon cannon, and time your shot to destroy the enemy. Really important, that bit, because you can go into the game and not have a clue how to get that missile to take out the main enemy. Watch out for the pursuing destroyer missile. Head in the neutral zone if you have to, but beware. The Cottle will occasionally transform into a swirl and launch itself at you. Not even the neutral zone will protect you if the swirl touches you. Charge the Zarlon cannon by nibbling the Cottle's shield or by touching the Cottle itself. Make sure you get out of the way of the Zarlon cannon when you fire it, as it will destroy you just as easily as it will the Cottle. Use this game select mode, blah, 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 blah. In we go.
Very imaginative, this game.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And we played the sequel on Atari Cart 1, didn't we? Yar's Return.
We did. That was an unreleased game, wasn't it?
That was an unreleased game, but this is the original 1982 game, and I like it.
Yeah.
Very imaginative.
Yeah.
Once you figure out what's going on.
Yeah. So I played later game modes. And for some reason, when I touched the Cottle, it didn't release the cannon. Something was going wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So
what is the significance of that neutral zone? So for anyone who doesn't know, you've got this kind of swirly colour bit in the middle.
You don't take a hit from that little missile.
Oh, I see.
You see the little rectangular missile. You don't take a hit from that.
But if the quotile fires at you, you can still be destroyed.
You can still get hit by the swirly one. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So now you've got the cannon.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Jim.
This before.
Yeah. Nailed it. And it's such a visual delight, though, isn't it, this game?
It is.
It
and
really is.
You get more points the more of the enemy shield that you take out. So the idea is it's like risk and reward. You could fly in nice and early and get your aiming missile, but you'll get more points for taking out more of the shield.
Yeah, it's a visual delight as long as you haven't got a migraine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because it there's a lot of visual noise going on, which
there is. Yeah,
but there's so much going on in terms of the gameplay. That's what I'm intrigued by. You've got this little guided missile that's constantly flying very, very slowly toward you, constantly. But then what you're trying to do is avoid that while actually take the shield down of the Cottle, and it's just really. So satisfying when you actually pull it off.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things, isn't it, that it almost feels strange that in order to destroy the thing you're trying to destroy, you have to basically go and sit on top of it.
Yeah.
We're programmed to avoid the thing that we're trying to kill.
Yeah.
But you purposely have to go and touch it and then fire your missile.
Yeah.
It's quite a cool concept of a game, isn't it?
Yeah. It really is.
As you said, it's a very unique kind of shooter.
Yeah, and it's Ray in backwards, isn't it? That was the whole point.
Oh, is that right? Is it?
Jarl's Revenge. That's the whole point, isn't it? Is that the developer was called Ray, or some person was called Ray, and I should know more. I should look this up.
It was Howard. It was Howard Warshaw, wasn't it? Who programmed it?
Yeah,
Howard Scott Warshaw.
But there's some. Yards is being an anagram of Ray, I think.
Right.
But
obviously, Howard Scott Warshaw is most famous / infamous for making E.T., the game that almost killed video games.
There you go. Let me look up. I'm going to look up.
But it's good. I mean, again, I sound like a broken record, but it's the lack of variety, I think, that ultimately is its downfall. It's good for 10, 15 minutes of fun, but it is an arcade game at heart, isn't it? So you probably don't need any real depth or longevity. But that is the problem, is that, as well, there's not really that much variety in the gameplay.
No. Big old jump on the big old difficulty spike as well.
Yeah, things start to happen just quicker, don't they, as you progress?
Yeah, so I'm playing on the level 2 difficulty, and that is really tough.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly not a bad game to finish on for sure.
No,
not at all. I think you it's rewarded by continued repeat play, and you actually get a sense of accomplishment when you do get better and better at it.
Yeah.
It is a very imaginative game.
Yeah.
So yeah, there it is. I'm trying to look up
Atari Car 2. You carry on doing that, Chris.
Yeah. Go on.
But Atari Car 2 is in the rear view mirror. 20 Atari 2600 and 7800 games. Jim, your stewardship has been immaculate. Some good and disastrous gameplay there.
Yeah.
When we got there eventually, didn't we?
When we got there, go on then, mate. Give us a favourite and a stinker of yours from this cart.
Stinker's got to be Sprint Master on it.
Yeah, it's tough to overlook.
Sprint Master, sure. Best game, Yar's Revenge, I think. Centipede was decent on the 7800 there. I'm going to go back and play a bit more Solaris. I think I probably didn't give that enough time. But yeah, I'll go and play a bit more of that, definitely. What about you?
What about you, Chris? Favourite stinker?
I think the stinker definitely is either a toss-up between Street Racer and Sprint Master. They're just I don't think they really belong on the cart at all, to be honest with you. My favourite is probably a toss-up between Solaris and Yar's Revenge, but I'm going to go with Solaris because I like the depth to it. If I may, honourable mentions. I'm going to go real sports tennis, despite what Chris will make me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on that
Needs an honourable mention.
Yeah.
You scallywags.
And I think the Haunted House game, I think that needs a nod as well.
Yeah.
I think I did, Haunted House. It's a unique title that, it gives as much as you put into it. So they're my honourable mentions, but sorry, I like real sports tennis, and I'm proud to say it. Go away.
I think
Haunted
Planet
House
Smashers,
is probably my favourite. Yeah,
Planet Smashers. I think there's a bit.
No,
there
isn't.
There. No,
there isn't. No, there's nothing there.
Yeah, I would look at. I think there's better games than that, isn't there? I mean, that's. But Haunted House is my favourite. I really enjoyed it. I really like Wizard as well, despite its lack of variety and I think depth. But yeah, Haunted House, and I think Solaris, even though I never played that one, I think if I had played it, I think I would have really enjoyed it. So I'll probably go back and look at that. Shout out to Centipede as well. I think that's a good version of that game. Stinkers Basketball. I mean, Basketball is absolutely terrible.
It's not as bad as Street Racer, but it is bad.
Street Racer is
far from the worst.
It's carnival nonsense. Well, Sprint Master is unplayable nonsense. So
Sprint Master's unplayable. A good concept, just completely and totally unplayable. Yeah. Due to its difficulty. I think it's a solid cart overall. I don't think there's any standout classics.
No, but I think the entertainment value here cannot be denied. I think there's a lot there to enjoy. And for me, that's why it's sad you can't buy it anymore. It's completely unavailable. The only way you can get it now is on Fleabay, and from which they will fleece you, as Mads has found out recently. So, that's why it's not on the show, because he couldn't get a copy of the cart. He missed out on some tennis game, which I'm very sad for him.
Yeah. I think this cart is how I expect to find Atari Cart 1. But I went in, I was expecting to go into Atari Cart 1 and think it's not great. There's not too much worth looking at. Whereas I really enjoyed Atari Cart 1. This one, not as much.
Well, next time we have more Namco games, because in cart number 6, it's Namco Collection Museum. What do they call it? Namco Museum 2.
And this was back in the day when Evercade were doing not arcade ports.
Yes.
They were doing NES ports. These are all NES games.
No, Mega Drive as well. There's
Mega Drive and NES.
And a couple of Super Nintendos as well.
Yeah, but basically none of them were actually original arcades yet. They fixed that in the end by making the purple carts. We'll talk about that another time. But which is wonderful. When they did that, it was very welcome when they turned that boat around. But there's a lot of criticism against them when they're saying, "Oh, we've got his arcade ports." No, they're not. They're not arcade games. Can we have arcade versions, please? So, but they fixed all that, and good stuff. But really, really enjoyed this cart personally. I know Jim didn't, but I actually got a lot out of it. I actually thought it was a excellent value proposition, especially the tennis.
There we
a shout out for the a quick shout out on the Namco stuff that's coming up. That's playable on the VS now. So previously that was handheld only. You could play it if you had an alpha, but it was a handheld only. Obviously you've got your HDMI out from the handheld, but you can now, if you update your software on the VS, you can play both Namco cartridges on the VS.
Excellent. Well done.
PSA.
Yeah.
Well done. Good stuff. Dear viewers, thank you very much for joining us. Dear listeners, thank you as always.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon with more Evercade, more retro. And until then, take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
From now on, unlike your parents were, you are the secret force of retro society.
Playing so fast, they're the only ones who can take you back in time. They play old games, they're more retro than J1 Optimus Prime. At home or the arcade for adventures,